Hi, hello, namaskara. Myself Mahesh Prasad from Department of Physics. As you know, well, dear students, we are in the next chapter, that is the mechanical properties of fluid. So before we get into this particular chapter, I'll ask something. Let us imagine you are driving a car, okay? So you are driving with around 180 meter per second or kilometer per second. So you are driving very fastly. Suddenly, if someone comes in front of your car, what will do? You will apply the brake, right? So if brake is there in your car, that's a different thing. So the thing is, you are applying the brake over there. Now we are mainly interested in braking system. How your brake is going to work and whether this particular brake, if it works or not, and how there is a possibility of a brake fail is going to happen. And this is a chapter where we are going to learn some kind of hydraulic brake, hydraulic lift. So these are the kind of interesting topic we are going to deal in this particular mechanical properties of fluid. Fluid. When I say fluid, what comes to your mind? So obviously there is a kind of motion of particle, right? In the sense, in the previous chapter, that is the mechanical properties of solid, we have discussed about few concepts of or few properties of a solid. Similarly, in this particular chapter, we are going to deal some properties of a fluid as well. What exactly the definition of fluid says? The material is which can flow from one point to the point, or the material which is having ability can flow is called as fluid. Correct? So what makes a difference between a solid with respect to the fluid over here? The fluid, it doesn't have an actual shape. It takes the shape of the container where we are going to pour a liquid over there, right? So these are the basic concepts we can have. These are the concepts which you know already. Now we'll discuss something extra with respect to the fluid pressure over here. So let us consider what is there on my hand. So obviously the pan, the one side, if I press somewhat like this, the one side which can have a sharper edge, and another one which is having the wider area of cross section, right? So now what I'll do here is that if I press against this particular palm of my hand, I may feel pain, right? If I apply 1 Newton, let us say in terms of physics point of view, if I apply 1 Newton with the sharper edge and if I press against my palm, I may feel pain over here. And similarly, if I take with respect to the wider edge of this particular pen and if I press with the force of 1 Newton, means same force, and if I apply over here, if I press against this particular palm over here, I may not feel the pain which I experienced before. Correct? So which means what comes to your mind by seeing this particular example over here? What comes to your mind? So here, area of contact of these two, the edges of this particular pen, comes to a major point over here, right? So which means the force is something related to area, correct? So if I apply the same force with the two sides, and if I press against my palm, one side of the edge, I found that there I felt that I experienced the pain. Another side, if I press against somewhat like this, I experience the pain. And if I press the same force, if I apply the same force to this particular edge, and if I press against somewhat like this, I may not experience any pain. So which means there should be some interrelation between a force with respect to area. So that gives a pressure. Okay. So now we will discuss about similar concept in terms of fluid pressure over here, right? So what exactly the pressure is? The pressure which is nothing but, it is nothing but the normal force. How? The normal force acting per unit area, like how we have discussed when it is a volume stress. What do you mean by volume stress? If I take one bob and let us say, imagine there is the cup of water is there, and if I drop into this, don't you think the bob can experience the force uniformly throughout its area of cross section? So similarly, in terms of fluid pressure, we can have the normal force acting per unit area, which means can I go with the relation that is the pressure which is equal to, that is the force divided by area, correct? So now in terms of equation or formula we can write pressure which is equal to, we can have that is nothing but F divided by area, okay? So this is F divided by area. Now what is the formula I can have? What is the formula I can have with respect to the pressure over here? We can write the force which is nothing but a Newton, right? The formula with SI unit, we can write what is the SI unit? We can have SI unit. The SI unit of this pressure, we can write this is the force can be taken it as a Newton, and similarly area can be taken it as a meter square, because length into length gives meter into meter gives meter square. Similarly, I can go with the Newton per meter square. Okay, so what could be the dimension formula we can have over here? What could be the dimension formula? It's very simple. We will do that. The dimension formula can be taken it as, so since it is a pressure which is equal to F by A, what is the dimension formula of force we have? That is mL raised to minus 2 over there. Let us write that. mL raised to minus 2. What is the area we have? That is the length into length, meter into meter. That is nothing but L square over here. So what is the formula we can have? M L to the power minus 1 T to the power minus 2. This is the formula for pressure, dimension formula of pressure we can have, right? So what is the formula we got just now? That is the pressure which is equal to force per unit area, right? So similarly, we can go with one numerical, so that you are going to have a clear picture about this particular phenomena, right? So let us discuss about the numerical which is there on the board, which you can see. So let us have two thigh bones, like a femurs. Obviously, you have two thigh bones, correct? That is nothing but if it is a person somewhat like this part is called as thigh bone, this part. Okay. Yeah. So obviously, normally you used to have two thigh bones, right? If your body is proper, hope you have. So two thigh bones of each area of cross section. Each area of cross section of the thigh bone is they have given it as 10 cm square. Support the upper part, right? So your thigh bone, which is a support system for your upper body, right? Support upper part of a human body. Your body is having 40 kg. Estimate the average pressure sustained by a femur. So, what is the pressure which is acting on the point of a femur over here? So, what is the formula we have over here? We have a pressure which is equal to F by A. But the thing is, we need a force over here. What force which is acting upon this femur over here? So how to calculate this? So let us write this. We have formula F is equal to P which is equal to F by A. But we need F. What is the formula we have for F over here? F which is equal to M into A. Correct? We have a formula F which is equal to M into A over here. This is a known formula F which is equal to M into A. Right? So M is a mass and A is acceleration. So what is the force? F which is equal to mass is a 40 into acceleration is let us take 10 for time being. So let us take 10. So what would be the force which is acting over here? The force which is acting nothing but 400 Newton, right? So next one is the area. So since they have given an area of cross section of one body, which means each one which is having each thigh bone which is, for example, each thigh bone which is having 10 cm square, 10 cm square. So altogether, what is the total area which includes over here? That is nothing but the total area of a femur. Can I go with the 2 into 10 to the power 10 to the power, see, initially you will get the 10 cm square, which means if I say area is equal to single area, if I say 10 into 10 to the power minus 4, because cm square is, your job is to convert in terms of meter square, right? So if it is so, I can go with the 10 to the power minus 2 whole square, becomes 10 to the power minus 4. So altogether I can write 10 to the power minus 3 over here. So since we have 2 thigh bones also in your body, so your job is to multiply 2 and 10 to the power. This is the area of cross section of a single thigh bone minus 3, correct? So now you apply the formula pressure which is equal to F by A. So what I can do? Pressure which is equal to F divided by A, which is equal to what I can have? The force, which is nothing but the 400 divided by 2 into 10 to the power minus 3, which is equal to what is the answer we can have over here? 2 into 10 to the power 5. What is the SI unit we can have? The SI unit we can have, that is a Newton per meter square. Newton per meter square. This is the things we are supposed to get under the concept of this basic pressure over here. Next we will discuss in terms of what exactly we are going to happen in a fluid pressure, right? Well, dear students, we will try to get the one more expression which we can see on the board. That is nothing but expression for pressure at a point due to a liquid. Now, what you can see on the board, there is one vessel, right? So, let us consider this vessel which is filled up with water or a liquid. So, this is the liquid which is filled up over here, somewhat like this. So, these are the liquid which is filled up in the particular vessel over here. So, don't you think this particular vessel which is having some area of cross section? Let us say this particular vessel is having an area of cross section as A. Okay, then which is having a certain height. This particular liquid is located with a certain height. Let us say that is H over here. Okay, so H which deals with what? The height of the liquid position. Now your job is to find what exactly the pressure is acting on the base of the particular vessel. So don't you think this liquid which is having some weight of its own, correct? So now the thing is, we can simplify this particular expression over here. That is nothing but the net downward force, the net downward force which is equal to, or else I can write down the net downward force which is equal to, what I can write, the net downward force which is equal to weight of the liquid. I can write that is nothing but the weight of the liquid. Okay, so this is what exactly I can simplify this particular relation. The net downward force which is equal to, at this particular point of the base, at a base, net downward force which is equal to weight of the liquid, right? So if it is so, can I get the weight of the liquid which is nothing but, what is the weight we can have? Weight which is nothing but the mass and acceleration due to gravity, or mass of the liquid. That is nothing but m into g, or mass of a liquid into acceleration due to gravity, correct? Now we know this is how exactly we are supposed to write, which is equal to F, correct? Now, this is the mass of the liquid. What is the basic relation we can have? Mass with respect to density as well as the volume. Don't you think this particular liquid is having some density of its own? Correct? So now we know density which is equal to mass per volume, but here we have mass. How I can interrelate with respect to mass over here? Can I write mass which is equal to volume into density over here? Right? So this can be simplified as volume into density into G. Right? So now what is the volume of the liquid I can have? How to get the volume of the liquid? Can I go with the area of cross section of the liquid into height of the liquid over here? That gives a volume of the liquid over there. Correct? So now I can write this volume can be simplified as, that is nothing but area into height into density into G, where this is called as rho or a density. This rho which indicates density. Okay, so that rho which indicates density. This is the density of the liquid. It's the indication of density. Now, which is F, which is equal to, can I write this is nothing but F which is equal to A into H into rho into G over here. Correct? So A which deals with the area of cross section, where H which deals with the height of the liquid, where rho which deals with the density of the liquid, next G which deals with the acceleration due to gravity, right? So now this is the F value we got. What is the formula we got just now with respect to the pressure of the liquid over here? What is the pressure of the liquid we can have over here? That is nothing but pressure which is equal to F per A. So now we substitute the pressure which is equal to, we have F by A. What is the value of force we got just now over here? That is nothing but, that is A into H into rho into G divided by A, which is equal to pressure which is equal to rho GH. So which means this is a formula with respect to the pressure at a point in a liquid. So now what factor which depends on the pressure at a point in a particular liquid? So this is a factor which represents the first one we can have, that is nothing but the density of the liquid, because the density of the liquid is different than the density of the mercury, correct? So density is also plays a major role over here, and also the acceleration due to gravity. The acceleration due to gravity actually it varies with respect to the height. So that's why acceleration due to gravity we can have acceleration due to gravity we can have, and third one we can have the height. Height also matters. Like imagine you are jumped into the well. As you go deeper or deeper, don't you feel you are going to have a maximum pressure? Correct? Like if you there is a possibility of breaking a stone. When the stone goes deeper and deeper into the ocean, what happens? Due to pressure with respect to the height, it is going to break by itself. Okay, so as you go deeper and deeper, what happens? Pressure is going to increase. So this is how exactly we can have a factor over here. There is nothing but the height of a liquid at a point. So these are the basic three factors which is going to depend on the liquid pressure at a particular point. Okay, so this is how exactly you are supposed to get a pressure which is equal to rho GH. Fine? Well. Well, dear students, that is nothing but one more law we are going to deal, that is the Pascal law over here. The thing which I said in the beginning, how your braking system is going to work by using the hydraulic system, right? So now, there is one law which is given by one of the scientists called as Pascal. According to him, what he says that whenever you apply the pressure is applied anywhere on the liquid, anywhere or at any point of the liquid, that particular pressure is transmitted equally in all direction in a particular liquid, which is also without being diminished in magnitude. In the sense, as we know, your liquid is incompressible. Correct? So now, according to this Pascal law, what it says? The pressure applied at any point of the liquid, transmitted equally in all direction, throughout the liquid. Throughout the liquid. So, by having this particular idea in your mind, the example or the device, there are many devices works on the principle of Pascal law. Like we can have the hydraulic lift, as well as the hydraulic brake. Since your liquid is incompressible, so we can have that one picture you can see over here. That will discuss that how exactly your hydraulic lift is going to work. Right? Which hope you all have visited a dentist clinic, right? There they used to have one bed where a doctor used to press by using his feet, so that you are going to have uplift. Like correct? So how is it possible? Just by pressing one button, so that you are uplifted with respect to initial position. So this is how exactly it works on the principle of Pascal law. How we will discuss. So this is a tube which you can see. Now let us say the tube which is having the area of cross section as A1, and other side of the tube which is having the area of cross section as A2 over here. Let us say, so this is a piston, okay? So this is a piston we have, and inside this particular tube we have a liquid, like hydraulic liquid, okay? So let us think, so these are the liquid we can have, somewhat like this, which is incompressible liquid. Obviously, that is a property of the liquid. Liquids are incompressible. Okay? So liquids are incompressible. So now, A1 is having a lesser area of cross section than A2 over here. Now, your job is to apply a force. Let us say the force which is acted over here, the force you have applied F1 over here, so that according to your Pascal law, what it says, pressure applied in a liquid which transmitted equally in all directions, right? So now here if I apply a pressure P1, the same amount of pressure can experience over here, correct? So according to Pascal law, we can say P1 which is equal to P2, the pressure which is acting over here which is equal to pressure which is acting at this particular point. But think about a force which is acting over here. Now, can I go with the F1 which is equal to, according to our relation F, your P which is equal to F by A we have. See, here in the first side we are having the area of cross section as A1 and a force we have F1. So can I go with the P1 which is equal to F1 by A1 which is equal to F2 by A2 over here, correct? So this is how exactly we can write. But since here we are having a greater area of cross section, force will be different. Here we can have maximum force than the force which we have applied over here. So that when you apply a smaller force by using your feet, like how we have applied in the dentist clinic. So if you apply a small force by using your feet, and if you are lied over here, lied on the surface of a bed, so here greater force will induce over here, correct? So now, if I write with respect to that is F2 over here. So F2 if I write F2 which is equal to, we can write A2 by A1 into F1. So obviously here we have A1 which is lesser than A2. So here we can say that what we can say, A2 is greater than A1. Also we can have F2 is greater than F1. But we have P1 which is equal to P2. And this is the beauty of physics, which is given by one of the law, which is given by Pascal. According to him, what he says, your liquid is incompressible, so that what happens, when you apply a pressure at a particular point, that pressure is transmitted equally in all directions throughout the liquid without being diminished in magnitude. Alright, but the thing is, force is different. You are applying a smaller force over here, correct? You are applying a smaller force over here, and you can produce a greater force by having a greater area of cross section, right? And similarly, we can have the similar concept by using the braking system. You are pressing the pedal of that particular brake. That is nothing but you are applying a smaller force. That particular force will transmit smaller force with the particular pressure we are giving. That particular pressure is transmitted equally in all directions in a hydraulic liquid, and the area of contact which is in contact with the brake shock will experience a maximum force. So that what happens? There is a possibility of stopping any car. That is one of the case we can have under the concept of a braking, like a hydraulic brake over there. So this is what exactly we have learned, that is a hydraulic lift, correct? So this is how exactly we have applied force through a smaller area of cross section of the piston over here. Piston means it is a movable one. So that if you apply a smaller force over here, so this force which transmit over here, and since we have greater area of cross section as A2, we can have greater force, but the thing is, we can have similar pressure which we have applied over here. Okay, so this is how exactly we can have under the concept of hydraulic lift. Well, dear students, we will see one more application of this Pascal law, that is the hydraulic brake. As I told in the beginning, how your braking system works over here, just by using the Pascal law. According to Pascal law, what it says? What he says? The pressure applied anywhere on the liquid which transmitted equally in all directions, right? So now, this is how exactly the scenario of a braking system is going to work over here. And here we have one master cylinder which is connected with the one piston P, let us say P over here. And this particular piston which is connected to a braking pedal, let us say this is a brake pedal where we are supposed to press the brake. So this, if you press the brake, what happens? This piston is moved towards this, correct? Move towards this direction. So that what happens? There is a force is created over here, and you are applying a force with the area of cross section over here. And this piston which is having area of cross section, let us say A1, and this force which is transmitted somewhat like this, and here we have one more chamber, the one more cylinder which is having a piston over here, correct? So this piston is comparatively having a greater area of cross section than this, correct? So this is also piston we have which is having a greater area of cross section than A1. So what happens according to our previous relation? There is a maximum force can exhibit over here, but whatever pressure we have applied over here, same force without being diminished, the same force, the same pressure which act throughout the liquid. Correct? So then what happens? Here, since we have a greater area of cross section, it is going to move away from each other. So if this particular piston starts moving away from each other, and here we have a brake show, which is nothing but which makes a contact with respect to your rim of the particular wheel. Correct? So which try to oppose the motion of the particular wheel, which means if the wheel is moving somewhat in a circular motion, this particular brake shoe, if it moves, if the piston moves away from each other, what happens? This tries to make a contact with respect to the rim of the particular wheel. So that what happens? There is a possibility of stopping the motion of the particular wheel over here. So this is how exactly your braking system works under the concept of Pascal law. Okay? Here we have applied a smaller force by using the smaller area of cross section of a piston. Then here we have used the greater area of cross section of a piston to get what? Greater force, but the thing is, pressure which we have applied initially will transmit it equally in all direction. Okay? So this is how exactly your hydraulic brake is going to work. Okay? So thank you very much. We'll see in the next class.